There's gloom and doom out there. Marc Faber will find it. He's warning investors at this point to prepare for a massive market meltdown, and he joins us live from Hong Kong. Marc, good morning to you. We know that you're warning about this big meltdown. How much of that is because of the fiscal cliff? How much is because of the election? We haven't had a chance to talk to you since the election. What do you think?
Actually, I'm so happy to be on your show because whenever I feel depressed and I see you group of people that are so optimistic, I feel enlightened and again full of life. So I think actually you should open a psychiatric clinic for depressed people, and you would do very well because everybody would feel good after talking to you.
But would we be fooling them into feeling good?
I think, you see, the point is this. I don't think that markets are going down because of Greece. I don't think that markets are going down because of the fiscal cliff, because there won't be a fiscal cliff. They'll do some patchwork, a little bit of tax increases that come into play in 5 years' time, and a bit of spending cuts that come in 100 years, and then everybody will be happy and there'll be a rebound in the market. But the market is actually going down because I think that corporate profits will begin to disappoint and that the global economy will hardly grow next year or even contract. And for that is the reason that stocks from the highs in September at 1,470 on the S&P will drop, in my view, at least 20%. Apple has already dropped more than 20%.
What's causing this global slowdown at this point? I mean, is there any way out of this, or is this a mess we've created and we've got to live with it right now?
Each country has specific problems. In some countries, we have overcapacity problems. I was in Vietnam. I've seldom seen such an overbuilt real estate market. It will take years to absorb everything. And if Vietnam's property market is a microcosm of the Chinese property market, it will also take years in China to absorb all the properties that are being built. In the Western world, including Japan, the problem is we have too much debt. And that debt now will have to be somewhere, somehow repaid, or it will slow down economic growth. And so I think that we lived beyond our means 1980 to 2007, and now it's payback period.
But it's payback period, but if you have a situation that you expect where the fiscal cliff is one that we never address, we just kick the can down the road and deal with it another day, when does it actually start to catch up with us?
I can't tell you precisely the day, but I think the whole global financial system will have to be reset at some problem, and it won't be reset by central bankers, but by imploding markets, either the currencies or the debt markets or the stock markets. But it will happen. It will happen one day, big time, and then we will all be lucky if we still have 50% of the asset values that we have today.
So if we were to handle the fiscal cliff differently...
It's a very optimistic scenario.
No, there are a lot of people who have talked about this scenario. It's something that definitely worries me, too. But do you think it would be a situation that could be avoided if we tackled the fiscal cliff and actually made some tough decisions right now? If we grasped at austerity the way some of the Europeans have done it, there are people who say we don't want to do it that way because look at what's happened in Europe. They've gone back into a recession. But is it your thought that we need to deal with this medicine and suffer the pain at some point?
For sure, there will be pain, and there will be very substantial pain. The question is, do we take less pain now through austerity or risk a complete collapse of society in 5 to 10 years' time? And in a democracy, they're not going to take the pain now. They're going to kick down the problems, and they'll become bigger and bigger.
So you think that we won't be able to do anything until it's too late, that we won't have the political will to go ahead and take the tough decisions now, and that's why we'll end up in this worse position?
I think correct, but I don't want to leave you without some optimistic words.
Okay, now that you've talked about the complete collapse of society, tell us about the bright side of things.
Yes. No. I've recently been to Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, of course Thailand because I have a house there, and Myanmar. That whole region is known as Southeast Asia. And I think that region of 250 million people will continue to grow regardless, because you have a relatively high GDP per capita in Thailand, maybe 3,500, 4,000 US dollar, and the surrounding countries, they have a GDP per capita of, say, only $1,000. And these countries are opening up now. They were formerly communist, socialist countries, and I think that with the trade links and transportation links that are being expanded, that this region, regardless of what happens in the world, can grow, provided there is geopolitical stability in Asia, which is a big question mark.
So in the situation in Vietnam, you said that the housing bubble is going to take years to get through, but you still think the growth statistics will trump that? Yes,
but you see, in Vietnam, from the peak exports in 2008 up to today, the export performance of Vietnam has been the best of any emerging market. Better than China, better than Colombia, and much better than, say, Eastern European economies.
So your bright spot is that all of Western society is going down the toilet, but if we move to Laos, we might be able to make $3,500 a year. That's. Yeah. I know I can buy a lot. I know I can move. I know you completely. I know what you can get for $3,500 in Thailand, but I'm not. That doesn't sound that great, Mark, to me. I resemble that you said that we're like Pollyannas, that we're constantly optimistic. That's the rap on finance. I'm going to sue you for definition of character.
Sorry, I didn't mean to insult you. I wanted to say something nice about you, that you're an optimistic person.
All right. I'm buying a gun. I'm not optimistic, so don't throw me in there. I'm reading about the U.S. military forces training for zombie apocalypse. I'll show you. It's true. Anyway, Marc Faber, thank you. I appreciate you. You sit there and smile the whole time you're saying this stuff. Anyway, we appreciate